Welcome to Micro Podcast. This is episode 11. I have my friend and colleague Nancy Crabb with me today. Nancy is the Vice President of Brand Experience here at the Star Conspiracy, and today we're talking about brands and rebrands. Nancy, what's the shelf life of a B2B tech brand in 2023?
While most companies will tell you to make a big brand investment every 7 to 10 years, we recently did a study and we discovered that the effectiveness of your brand begins to wane 3 years post a rebrand. And at 5 years, you start to see a lot of drop off in the way that your brand impacts things like your business growth, your share of voice, sales conversations, brand affinity, all of those important key metrics.
Based on what our research showed, what's the biggest obstacle to a company being able to push through a rebrand?
One of the things that we did measure was the experience that people had with pushback. Most of that pushback comes from internal audiences. If you don't have the stomach for a major rebrand, then make sure that you're keeping your brand fresh. Keep testing. Campaigns are a really great way for people to test new messaging, test new visual executions. And the more that you test and gather that feedback as you go along, the more you can keep things fresh and evolved. And then you don't have to blow it up and start over at some point in the future.
Let's say I'm a brand marketer and I do manage to get the big rebrand pushed through and sold through. I get one shot at it. What are some of the major pitfalls or mistakes that you would recommend that I avoid?
One, you got to make sure that you do ample research, right? You need to do research to know where you stand and where you're headed. Also, something we have found that just will tank most any rebrand is if you don't have alignment from your internal stakeholders. No matter what you create, make sure that you have the right people involved in the conversations. And then when you're ready to roll it out, start with those key people, start with your employees, and get everybody telling the same story before you start pushing it out to customers in the broad market.